My name is Amina, and I will be talking to you guys about why parents should vaccinate their children. I suggest that parents should vaccinate their kids because not only does it protect their children, it also protects other people's children. There's a lot of diseases from a long time ago that are starting to come back because parents are not wanting to vaccinate their kids due to the false claims that are out there that people are just making up themselves. According to vaccines.gov, vaccines are made from very small amounts of weak or dead germs that cause the diseases, things like bacteria, viruses, and toxins. It prepares your body to fight the disease faster and more efficiently. That way you don't get sick. Vaccines are very safe and effective. They are given to many healthy people in the world. Because they're given to so many people, they are held at very high standards compared to more other things that are out there. Before a vaccine can come out, it has to be licensed by the FDA. Once it gets licensed by the FDA, it gets recommended for use by the CDC. Vaccines go through years of testing. They start off being tested in labs once they are tested, and the FDA determines if it will be tested on people or not. Once the company gets approved by the FDA, then they start their clinical trials. Clinical trials are made up of 20 to 100 volunteers, but it can go anywhere into the thousands. The trials test if the vaccine's safe, what amount is the most effective, and how your immune system reacts to the vaccine. Once it gets approved, they create test batches, and these test batches are made to make sure that the vaccine is potent, pure, and sterile. And once the vaccine does get out into the market and it is being used, it still goes through years and years of monitoring just to make sure that the vaccine is still good even after being used so many times. There is more than just one type of vaccine out there. Scientists have categorized it into 4 main types, which are live, inactive, subunit recombinant, and polysaccharide, as well as toxoid. The first one is live vaccines. They are made from a weakened form of the germ, so it's still alive. They are very long-lasting and they give a strong immune response. The only problem is they must be kept cold, and so in countries that don't have a lot of refrigeration or they have limited access to refrigeration, they might not be able to use them very well. They also can't be used on people who have a weak immune system already because it is a live form of the germ. So if they already have a compromised immune system, it could make them sick. And it also can't be used on patients who have organ transplants just because that organ can reject, the body can reject that organ due to the vaccine. Live vaccines prevent against MMR, which is measles, mumps, and rubella. It also prevents against smallpox, chickenpox, rotavirus, and yellow fever. The second type of vaccine is inactive. It is what it sounds like. It's a killed version of the germ. This also gives a strong response, immune response, but it doesn't give you immunity, which is why we need more of a series of those shots, which are called booster shots. They protect you against things like hepatitis A, polio, flu, and rabies. Subunit vaccines, they only are a specific part of the germ, like the protein, the sugar, or the capsid. They also give you a very strong immune response, and they can be used on pretty much anyone out there, even people who are have a weakened immune system or are people who have gotten an organ transplant. They protect you against things like hepatitis B, whooping cough, and shingles. Finally is the toxoid vaccine. It is made from the toxin that is created by germs, and so you're immune against part of the germ, but not the germ or bacteria as a whole. And this is used to protect things against diphtheria and tetanus. Vaccines are the best protection we have against diseases, and there is many benefits to vaccines. The biggest one being that it does prevent you against diseases that are out there, and it is considered to be one of the greatest health achievements of the 20th century. According to Immunize for Good, 1 year of vaccines have prevented between 1 and 2 million deaths worldwide. Another thing, it's very cost effective. It's a lot cheaper to just prevent a disease than it is to treat it once it's occurred. In Colorado, the cost of treating 538 children that were hospitalized for vaccine preventable diseases in 1 year was $29.2 million. So if parents just vaccinated their children, then the hospitals will not have to spend that much money, nor would the parents and the insurance companies. Another big thing is that diseases that are eradicated won't be coming back unless it was accidentally introduced. So things that happened a long time ago, hundreds of thousands of years ago, would not come back. And another thing is diseases can be eliminated locally without a whole global eradication. Of course, this doesn't remove the danger of reintroduction though. Vaccines, even if it's a vaccine for one thing, it can also prevent against another disease. It's been proven that the flu vaccine has been found to help over 30% of acute otitis media in children, according to the World Health Organization. It's also been linked to help cancer prevention. Hepatitis B will lead to liver cancer, and you can kind of maintain the hepatitis B by vaccines. Same thing goes with the HPV vaccine. As long as you're getting those vaccines regularly, it can help against your chance of getting cervical cancer. Even though vaccines do have many benefits, they also do have their downfalls. With just like any other medicine that is out there, they will have reactions, and the type of reaction depends on the vaccine that it is. For example, the adenovirus, the symptoms are usually very mild, and they occur within 2 weeks of receiving the vaccine. Headaches occur between one in 3 people. A stuffy nose, joint pain, sore throat is 1 in 6 people. Abdominal pain, cough, and nausea is 1 in 7. And then things like diarrhea and fever is closer to the 1 out of 100 people. Now, there is more serious complications that can occur with that, with the adenovirus, and those usually occur within 6 months of receiving it. Of course, these are very rare. Things like blood in urine or blood in stool, pneumonia, inflammation of your stomach and intestines are about 1 in 100 chance of getting it. For inactive vaccines, they're usually mild, very mild, and they go away on their own. You can experience things like soreness, redness, swelling, or itching in the site where they injected the vaccine, and also just kind of overall fatigue and body aches. Just with everything, there's also more serious problems that can occur, but they are very rare. There is a small increased risk of the Guillain-Barré syndrome after an inactive flu vaccine, but this risk is only about 1 out of 2 in 1 million people can get this, so it's very rare. Regardless of the possible side effects of vaccines, they're nothing compared to the diseases that are out there. If you vaccinate your child, they'll be protected against millions of diseases out there, and they'll stop diseases from spreading. I would much rather deal with the side effects of a vaccine than a disease that could be possibly fatal. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you.
How long do I have to be?
7.
Oh.